Hello everyone, my
Hi.
name is the Insane Baron, and I
I'm
want to welcome you to LCS Airlines.
Hi, and I'm Best Vane US. So,
You might know me from the first Vane Adventures. I was playing Olaf, and we brought up this idea that Best Vane US here and I would cast one of our friends' ranked 5 teams.
so
Alright, so
enjoy.
their team is called Urban Radiation Blue. The lineup is Chuku in the jungle, DNKZ Swag Sauce on ADC, Alex Dips on support, Happy on mid lane, and Bungee Bag in the top lane. Now, let's look over some tips or some of these picks that they have today.
What I find interesting is the enemy
Alright.
picks. They have a very strong team fighting comp there. We see that Brand Jarvan, as well as that Zac, Shyvana Initiate. All of those Zac, Shyvana, and Jarvan will play a huge role in the front line, while the late game Vayne and the Brand will just be mowing everyone down with their crowd control and single target damage, which is a lot considering it's Brand and Vayne.
Now, I don't know about the order of picks that they have done here, because they first picked Jarvan on the other team and then picked Brand.
Because Jarvan
Now, I feel like that's an interesting
strong.
pick because Brand is.
Oh yeah.
And at this
Brand,
point,
yeah.
after Dark Horse's guide getting released, I would expect a Brand support out of this. But interestingly enough, he's going mid, and we see a Zac support coming out. Not a very popular pick.
Good thing to point out.
So in the bot lane, we have Tristana Leona, which, as a whole, is a pretty good early game comp. But towards the mid game, before Leona can pack a couple items on her and Tristana can get some attack speed, it kind of weakens a little bit. But also they're going against Vayne, so they can, Vayne can afford to have this kind of comp with the delayed mid game because they have Vayne, which scales hyper into the late game.
Okay,
Let's see how this rolls out.
What I'm worried about, though,
Alright?
before the game starts, is how they're gonna deal with that late game. There was the Katarina picked by Happy, and that's gonna be a very hard pick. Looking at their team comp, if you can see that. I mean, that Zac is gonna be huge against Katarina. He's just going to basically rip her apart in team fights. Just think about that for a second. Zac is probably the strongest, if not one of the strongest.
Well, I'm really interested in seeing how the jungle will go down, because the jungle these days is very brutal since the patch 420 changes.
Both are very strong.
I've heard, has done Jarvan does a very good clear, and he gets out with quite a bit of HP from what I've been told. So that means that Lee Sin does not have that much of the invade potential that he has had in previous patches. So it looks like Lee Sin is going to be on the lower hand in this initial clear, and then he will eventually even out with the Jarvan in the mid game. Now, where it's obvious that the other team with Vayne and Brand is obviously going to have an excellent late game compared to our friends on Urban Radiation Blue. Alright, looks like we're getting onto the rift. Alright, let's look at some of the buys that are coming out. Let's see. So pretty standard buys coming out here. Zac is opting to go for the Targon's Brace instead of the Ancient Coin. I don't know how powerful Zac's support is. I don't see it very often. It's not a very popular pick. What do you think about that, Havish?
My camera is stuck in directed for some manual. Okay, there we go. Okay, I'm gonna move my hand. Okay, there we go. I should start moving to directed camera now. Are you looking at Brand? Are you looking at the invading team?
Yes.
Okay, then we're
Yes, Alright, let's get rid of some of the things we don't need. Chat, target frame,
oh my god.
and, yeah, okay. So, looks like we've got some very interesting early game happening. Chuku is getting caught out by the enemy team. Some autos coming out. The flash comes out.
Now there's a counter engage.
Reducing.
Ooh, that was a good flash.
Wow. That is high. That is going to reduce the safety of Vayne in the early game, but also the invade potential of Lee Sin. Now we're getting 2 backs out, 3 backs, including Bungee Bag. Okay, he's actually not backing. What a tease.
That went
okay,
pretty even.
That's interesting.
That was a very even exchange.
Pretty even. Let's look at some summoner spells blown. On the blue side, the flash of Akenadili Chuku is down, and the flash of Bungee Bag is down. On the other side, they only burned the Vayne flash. So it's 2 flashes for 1, but Vayne really needs that flash for her early engage and escape potential, especially against Leona Tristana. Alright. So Jarvan is completing
what
his...
I can get rid of in my... Okay, I can get rid of...
I would get rid of the chat.
Okay.
No, scoreboard's important.
Alright, I'm like...
Are you looking at the bot lane right now?
Yeah, I am.
Are you looking at...
Okay, so right here, DNC is getting some pretty good trade onto that Vayne, which is important, but...
Yeah. I'm very interested in the viability of this Zac support as the game progresses. Not a very conventional pick, we could say. Looks like Alex is playing back, as a good Leona does, until level 2 or 3. Ooh, Bungee Bag is the early level 2. But will he make anything of that?
That's gonna make or break this top lane.
That is expected. That was the very famous matchup. A couple patches, they go in.
Ooh, they go in.
Alex
okay,
Dips
so
comes in with the E and
immediately, DNC puts some distance.
Oh, the minions are getting caught behind the minions. Oh, they're trying to make a kind of recovery, but the trade does not come out evenly as much as they would like.
That's a very aggressive
Alex
play.
lands a perfect shot.
Oh,
but in the mid lane, Ryan is getting caught out.
Ooh,
And
Willie.
the ignite will be enough.
The
first blood ran.
Ooh, that was a miss. That was a lot of damage missed.
Alex lands a 3rd in a series of perfect ease. But will he get the kill this time? No, the heal comes out. Summoner spells burned. They will turn it back on the... Zac does miss his...
another, a 4th
and another perfect E.
Now it's all by
the
hiding
E of Tristana hits the minions.
Oh, but there is that teleport.
The teleport comes out by Shyvana. Ooh, but Renekton interrupted it. Interesting. Okay, we have Swagging Sauce and Alex both on low health in the bot lane.
But definitely a wasted teleport.
Bungee Bag didn't make... Yes,
ooh, that was a good dodge.
She should have teleported at least under tower, so that Bungee Bag could at least take a little bit of damage to get that out, instead of giving it to him for free. Akenadili Chuku misses the E, comes in for the gank. Ooh, the E comes on. Will the Q connect?
The Q.
And it perfectly does. Lovely kick back onto the brand, taking the kill back, evening up the mid lane.
Some harassment here.
Bungee Bag getting some good harass on the Shyvana. Okay. Will Bungee try to go for a all-in, where he does have a 50% Fury, which is an important factor when considering the all-in potential. Shyvana.
He does drop that.
What is she left laying up here? Oh, a gank comes in by Jarvan. Oh, but Bungee Bag lands a perfect EE combo, but will it be enough? Okay, the lifesteal from his Fury to Q. But it's not enough. He does get taken down by the initial Jarvan red buff damage combined with his autos. Okay, now we have Alex Dips in the bot lane.
That
kind
Jarvan
of watching.
passive
Yes.
is very strong, especially when ganking, because it will turn them from half health to very low health very quickly. Some interesting plays by Ryan in the mid lane.
Okay, Bungee Bag is using his teleport to get back into lane, which means that Shyvana's teleport will be up about 2 minutes before his is.
Now this is interesting to keep in mind, because if the enemy team decides to force a dragon earlier in the game, they might have the advantage.
Now, I don't know if either team has a very good dragon early clear in their future. Oh, Bungee Bag getting... Oh, is he turning it onto the Jarvan? But we can't even focus on top because gank comes in with bot lane with the Akenadili Chuku who lands the Q. Lands the E, but I'm pretty sure Zac's passive is still up, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, the passive does not go down! And it gets turned back on by the Vayne. Now this Vayne is 1-1 and 0, although she only has 25 CS and it is 6 minutes and 15 seconds. Ooh.
Ryan is
If
getting
Ryan
very
would-
aggressive. Ooh, Tristana catch.
If Happy was level 6... Oh, okay, Tristana does pop the Zac
If she
passive.
can get
I don't
that.
know if it will be enough. It looks like Vayne is kind of letting it happen.
Ooh, this is a very...
Ooh, very... Oh, wow.
That-
Excellent play by
yeah.
Ryan, coming with the E and Q and the flash. Utilizing his his level 6 power spike extremely well.
He turned level
Okay.
6 after.
Now we see KZ Swag Sauce in the bot lane. In a little bit of a 1v1 with this Vayne poking under tower with their increased range. Okay. Bungie Bag does have a commanding CS lead over Shyvana at a 42-35 deficit for her. All lanes seem to be winning in CS by more than 5. Ooh, both of the
Interesting top
ultimates
lane.
come out, but does any damage come out of it? Huggish doesn't.
Okay, we have the stun coming through.
Okay,
our next
the
gen.
stun comes out. I doubt that any kills are going to come out of this. He does have 50% fury, so Shyvana does have to be careful. Oh, if he landed the stun. Okay, Ekanadili Chuku looks like he's holding mid lane. Brand misses a Q that could have caught a kill from him. Alright. Looks like we're looking back at bot lane. Will Alex land another one of his amazing kicks? Not kicks, E's. Oh, wow. Okay. Not quite what he was expecting, but they did get good poke onto Zac.
They're definitely out-trading. And we can see the bot lane advantage here.
There is a
Tristana
pretty-
is up by 10 CS.
Jarvan
But
comes in for a gank, and Alex gets caught in the unfortunate dem.
Ooh, but he
Oh,
does burst
but
out
not
that Vayne.
before Swag Sauce picks up the kill on Vayne, flashes out of it.
Some
But will
damage
Bungie-
coming out on top. Shyvana is
looks
starting to
like
outtrade
Katarina's
him
coming in
now.
for the pit cleanup.
Can
Will
she do
she
it,
come in
though?
for the cleanup? That will be a nice blue buff for her. And I'm pretty sure Zac's passive is still down. And a
Well
cleanup,
played.
2 kills by DNKZ Swag Sauce and Happy. Bungie Bag is getting out-experienced by this Shyvana in this lane. As he was level 6 while she was level 7. I don't quite understand why this is. I mean, Akenadili Chuku has not visited top lane yet.
It might be because of the stall that she was doing top lane. Ooh, he uses the stun
She
on the
did do a
minion.
very efficient stop.
The freeze, yes. He's starting to
She
take
did
some
do a very
damage.
efficient freeze
This
on
might
her
be
side
the-
of
yeah,
river.
this might be the engage
Very
here.
safe against Lee Sin ganks. Bungie Bag just pops his ultimate, coming in. Ooh, I don't know if he could have turned that or not.
He might have.
He does
but
have 2 full stacks of fury, so he could do a WQ that would be devastating. Okay. Alex
but
is
will
kind of
she
having
give
his
him-
standoff. Vayne. Bungie Bag does have 50% fury, and the Shyvana
Yes,
ult
Vayne.
is down, although she is level 8. Interestingly enough. Oh, this game is tense. It is close. No dragons have been picked up yet by either team. Let me see. What is Shyvana maxing? Okay,
Legion
so she
has
is maxing
picked
her
up
burnout, which is
the
a safe
range blade.
choice.
Is that what it's called? What is it called here?
The Rage
range-
Blade?
No, the Ranger's Tailblazer.
The Ranger.
And this is a very
Ranger's Trailblazer.
Good, is a pick. Yeah, that what is it called? It's a jungle item. Oh, some aggression here in the top lane.
But for Lee Sin, that is a very interesting one. You would want to pick up the one that involves ganking more and counter jungling, though, I would expect, coming from a Akenadili Chuku. But we'll see how the Trailblazer works out for him.
I'll talk about that, but ooh, there's an engage here in the bot lane. Vayne,
there is an
Vayne
engage.
late game power spike is
Oh.
very strong. That level 6 power strike.
Unfortunately,
Oh, it's that hit.
oh, Alex almost hit it with the tip of his umbrella, but it does not connect, and the Zac gets to walk away. Hot scotch.
But the brand is coming down.
However, picking up the Ranger's Trailblazer on Akenadili Chuku is allowing him to amass quite a big CS lead over Jarvan, from 40 CS to 29.
Another thing to understand right now.
Oh, the Q does land! Oh, but a lovely escape by Akenadili Chuku, but will it be enough? Oh, teleport's coming from everywhere. Brand is starting to clean up with all of his abilities. The teleport is cancelled by Renekton, and it looks like Swag Sauce has nowhere to go. Brand in the end picks up 3 kills.
But there is a
Or how many kills
Katarina
did he
here.
pick up? Oh, the Katarina cleanup duty is coming in. The janitorial duty is coming. DNKZ Swag Sauce disconnects from the game just as Happy is killed during the Zac passive.
I think
Will this have a long...
I was reading up on the jungle lately. Oh, this is the dragon. And
This is going to be the first dragon for this game.
And I was reading up on the jungler's item picks, and the jungle right now is very tough. And the thing about the Ranger's Trailblazer, right, is the fact that it gives a lot of clear in the jungle, and it makes it extremely easy to sustain in the jungle. So what that means is that junglers can gank more, as we've been seeing, and it's good on Lee Sin because he's an early game jungler and he really needs to get in there and affect those lanes, and he can't really do that if he picks out those other items.
Okay, thankfully we do see Swag Sauce reconnecting on that Tristana. Bungie Bag does take the first tower of the game versus Shyvana, to be expected, considering the one-sidedness of this matchup in history.
Well,
Let's look at some of this itemization coming out.
She's starting to out-trade him now. She does have that late game.
DNKZ Swag Sauce is going into the awkward Tristana mid-game phase, in which she has the AD and the crit, although she does not have the attack speed to put it out in a consistent amount. Ooh, despite all of his early game kills, Happy in the mid lane on Katarina is not able to pick up too much AP. He is instead opting for the Seeker's Arm Guard to build into his Zhonya's, possibly to protect from Vayne and Jarvan and their late game power. That Zhonya's is going to help out.
I like that.
Zhonya's is going to help out during Cataclysms and Contemns. That is a beautiful waterfall. Very well coded. Okay. Ryan still has a commanding CS in the mid lane against Brand. Ooh, but Bungie Bag comes in and a Kennedy Chuku. Will he kick him under tower? Very clean kill. But in the bot lane, look at this. Jarvan is coming in for a gank of his own against DNKZ Swag Sauce and Alex Supple, but the Jarvan ult does get the kill. However, the Vayne does come to dive, and the Umbrella is not enough to stop the darkness. The Kennedy Chuku does come in for the Flash E. Jarvan does do a lovely flag Q.
3 quick. Wow, well played.
And in the last second, the Q lands and kills Vayne, getting revenge for his fall into comments. The trade is still not even. I don't feel like much is going to come out of that. Shyvana does get a lot of harass. Happy does come in for the cleanup, but will he outplay? Ooh, he instead opts to flash out into the bush.
Oh,
and the smite comes out. The disrespect.
Can't really do much against that.
That was not good.
And like I was saying,
Alex is not having the best game.
Shyvana's really starting to outskill that Renegade now. He can't keep up with her ability. We just saw some of those trades earlier in the lane. She's starting to come out on top.
Yeah, this is a part of the game where the Renekton pick starts to get a little bit outdated compared to the Shyvana and her team fight potential. And Kennedy Chuku and Bungie Bag desperately try to hold on to that mid turret, although they are getting slightly outclassed by their purple team counterparts. Okay. Tristana is farming well, relatively well. None of the farm in this game is particularly amazing, considering all the short skirmishes we've had, surprisingly, in this kind of early late game focused team with all these big game fights. Oh, the smite from the Umbrella does come out. The power of the sun will trump the darkness, or will it? Shyvana does come in with the teleport. Oh, the teleport from Renekton is coming in though. Alex Supple is going to go down. Will Renekton be able to do anything, or will he just be killed by the shredding damage of Vayne at this point in the game with her very boosted attack speed?
What's
from
interesting
Runes and
here is
Masteries,
that
and
she's
of course the
going
AD.
She's going with the Bloodthirster build, which is an interesting pick against her team. But
Against Leona, against Leona, Renekton, and Lee Sin, I would have definitely picked the Blade of the Ruin King, but I don't know. It seems to be working out for her so far. 4, 3, and 4 is the score. A insect comes out, and Happy jumps on it immediately. The opportunity comes out. There is a ward to hop to, if he so chooses. The Q does connect, but we're gonna have a little skirmish here with Shyvana. I do not feel like Katarina at this point in the game. Shyvana. If Jarvan does go over this wall, he might be in trouble, having no mana against a relatively damaging
bot lane.
Katarina. Katarina does get out with a well-timed E, and Techinthepresent does utilize the Scuttle Crab to make some distance between him and the enemy, and they do get out with 0 kills being given to purple team. Okay, looks like Alex is trying to hold the fort against Vayne and Zac. Let's see how this goes. Will she try to go in? Hopefully not, because Tristana is back at base, looking to buy her Infinity Edge, the core item on Tristana. Of course, no surprises there. So a quick recap, 17 minutes in, almost 18. The gold is very even with only a 400 gold gap between the two teams. It looks like in most of the lanes, the CS is winning. Yeah. It looks like on both sides, the CS is winning with the exception of the top lane, where the Shyvana is slowly starting to outclass the counterpart Renekton.
This was expected.
However, it looks like your prediction of the Trailblazer is working out quite well for Lee Sin, as he is beating the Jarvan, the king of the jungle clear. Although we cannot talk about that anymore, we have a team fight. Nothing special to see there. We just have a couple Katarina kills comboing off each other, and now we just have Zac caught out. And look at that, the blue buff just comes off of its reset just as they kill the third member of their team, cleaning up.
This puts
and that does mean that they will be able to take the dragon.
This is a very advantageous.
So that means that they will be able to take advantage of that first and most powerful dragon buff, the 8% increased AD and AP on all champions. And it will not be taken. The smite comes out. Beautiful kill by Lee Sin.
What's interesting here is...
Okay, the sweeper is used very...
This really gave them a push in the game, because it not only took away the blue buff from Jarvan, and Jarvan needs his blue buff, it also took a dragon. And 3 kills, right? 3 kills. So that's a lot of things happening in just a couple of seconds.
It looks like everything's turning up blue team with a 1k gold advantage after being in a deficit of 400. However, can't speak too soon. It looks to be a 3-man onslaught coming to the bot lane, but a well-timed Leona ult does stop that from happening, although they do have to burn 2 ultimates, Tristana and Leona's, to stop the onslaught. The turret top lane is taken by Shyvana, as Bungie Bag is getting seriously outclassed by the superior mid-game team fighter Shyvana, 13 to level 11. That is very significant. Oh, okay, Zac is charging up, getting ready, but it will not connect. Nothing will connect. The flash is not burned. And will Alex survive? No, the dash under tower is too much. And Techinthepresent does kick away for some reason. The Q does not connect. Rough time for blue team. And he does get caught by the Jarvan EQ combo. A kill is picked up by DNKC Swag Sauce. Although the Vayne is going to be able to. I thought she was going to tumble. But it looks like she will just be able to roll in. Very short cooldown at this point in the game. Leveled up quite a bit. It looks like
that puts purple team back in the lead. At least
now Katarina is 1 kill up and 40 CS ahead of Brand. However, if she does get caught with this one WEQ combo with an ult, it will be the death of her, which is why I would assume she picked the Zhonya's Hourglass up from the shop. Ooh, the poke is very strong from this very farmed Shyvana.
I was noticing that her E's were doing a lot of damage, and I wonder if she's maxing that E ability. Or is it no? It's
Let me
not
check
the
for a
E,
second.
The W.
She is maxing her E second.
So
She is maxing her E second.
What's she maxing first?
Burnout.
The burnout, as in, she.
Oh, rather, I read this wrong. She did max E first.
Meaning she shoots
She
that
did max
thing,
E
right?
first. Yes. Her.
She shoots
What is
that
it
little
called?
fire breath.
Her
fire
flame breath
Yeah.
does it does 230 damage base, and that is going to take quite a bit of HP off of Katarina's tiny health bar of 1.5k.
I noticed that earlier in the game that E was doing a lot of damage to the enemy, Renekton.
Interesting. Shyvana's usually take burnout at this point in the game.
I guess it's
Bungie Bag
because-
trying his best to stay relevant,
I think a part of that
and
is
it just
that reason she picked to max that is because, you know, Renekton is a burst trader. He goes in, he trades, and then he goes out, and that doesn't give a lot of time for burnout, which is a consistent over time. So she might have went with that E pick so then she could, you know, also burst out, which works out
Yes.
for her.
absolutely. Now it looks like Vayne has surpassed Tristana in the CS war. This game is still it's not a game over yet. It is just 1.3k separating these two very high caliber teams from what we've seen. The E does connect and so does the Q, but will they go in on it? It is the most high health target on the team. Scratch that, Shyvana is. Zac has 2.4k HP, and Shyvana has a mere. And Shyvana has a 2.3k HP, but with more armor. Now, the Zac kill is picked up. Nothing notable of that. Now, it looks like we have a four-man squad trying to take this mid turret, while Bungie Bag tries his best to stay relevant by getting rid of this Shyvana. Now, it looks like she will take a couple turret shots, but will that be enough to make up for this huge gap they have between them in both levels and CS, when Renekton starts to become a little bit irrelevant at this part of the game? The Blade of the Rune King does come out, and so does the Renekton ultimate. Dive under tower turret doesn't work out very well. In the middle lane, we do have a little bit of drama happening. First, coming off on Alex Deepasupa between that Jarvan and Vayne combo. The Condemned does not connect onto the wall.
Vayne just popped that final hour. She's exhausted.
Happy is trying to do a... Oh, Happy is out of the fight, out of commission because of that burst that's coming out of Van at this
Vayne is very
game.
strong, but
Bungie
Tristana is coming in from
teleporting,
behind.
but so is Shyvana. Everybody's low.
We have to
has
note that
extremely
Vayne
good
was
position.
taken out of this fight. She's
Although
done.
Bungie Bag, Swag Sauce is able to get over the wall, escaping that. Oh, what a beautiful fight. Katarina does clean up 2 kills very quickly with her resets, when the Q will obviously connect and will result in a kill. The disrespect comes out from Ikena Dilichuku, but what else can we expect from him, ladies and gentlemen?
This was very well played by both teams, and at the end of the day, instead of grouping up and playing to the enemy comp, the blue team decided to split apart and take people out one by one, and using kite and other strategy.
I was very impressed that Tristana was able to kite this Zac even throughout his ultimate and flash into the dragon pit, and was able to W over the wall with a sliver of HP left. And now it looks like Zac is coming in for round 2. She does escape with quite a bit of HP left. I don't know if that was quite necessary, but it looks like Lee Sin will still be able to clean this up. I don't know if he has his passive or not. Oh, but will they really not? Alex goes down by the single-handed Vayne. Oh, Ryan is smited, and with a perfectly timed E, gets out of the Jarvan ultimate.
That's 2 ultimates thrown on her team.
It looks like they're going for level 2 Dragon. I don't know if this is the safest ability or idea. Ikena Dilichuku may go for the steal. Oh! Wow, that was fantastic. He does come in for the steal, and with the smite, gets the dragon, securing their team the level 2 dragon buff, allowing them to kill minions easier. Yes.
However,
That will help
the
with
enemy team is gonna push out here.
They are not pleased with that. After getting the Lee Sin kill, they decide now to push down mid. It's a good thing that blue team got out of the way because that Zac would have wrecked them, given the opportunity. Alright, looks like Bungie Bag and Happy. The two solo laners are desperately trying to hold this mid lane tower.
They have the clear though.
But this Vayne has perfect positioning, weaving in and out of all of their abilities and engages, somehow staying alive throughout all of this chaos.
Definitely very team-oriented Vayne here. We're not looking at a normal bronze Gosu wannabe.
We have some very good team fights coming out on both of these teams. Very good combos coming out, very good team cohesion, as we would expect from two high-caliber teams such as these. They do support each other's weaknesses. Bungie Bag has been able to get quite a bit of CS since his extreme deficit to Shyvana. Although Shyvana is eventually just going to outfarm the hell out of this Renekton. The Scuttle Crab, one of the most important objectives on the map right now, is being contested by both teams, and it looks like the game is over because Vayne just took the Scuttle Crab. We might as well quit right here, folks.
Not the Scuttle Crab.
Wow, look at this gold. Completely even. With the blue team eking out just a slight 100 gold lead.
Ryan was almost caught.
A very, very imperative E by Ryan, just barely escaping the condemn into the wall, which would certainly be a death sentence.
Ooh, a top lane skirmish. Ooh, that Shyvana.
That rune kick damage plus the active is completely shredding Bungie Bag. There's nothing he can do. He is turning. I don't know why. The cooldowns are all up for Shyvana. But although she decides to just maim him and let him tell the story back to his friends, so as to incite fear into the solo lane pushing Shyvana. Ooh,
that was a very good.
The Leona ult is used. However, it has to be used on the defensive.
It was very well positioned play there by Vayne. She backed off right out of the Leona ultimate.
Looks like Tristana is starting to get her items. She is getting that power spike, and she is noted. Ooh, another perfect E by Happy, just getting him out of the fight. Although the disengage is not enough for Ekanagili Chuku, and the Katarina ult comes out, shredding everyone with the disrespect to Zhonya's coming out as well. Perfectly done while Bungie Bag holds Shyvana in the top lane, not letting her take this tower that she desperately desires. That team fight went textbook. There was such a good disengage, and then once they condemned Lee Sin into the turret, they did go in a little bit too hard, allowing burning all of their cooldowns and all of their abilities, allowing Happy to come in with just a massive ultimate. Alex Dips is coming up to help Bungie Bag versus this fully farmed Shyvana into her final stages of dragon kind. Okay. Ooh. It looks like our two weary travelers, one of which is holding an axe the size of his body, the other of which holding an umbrella, decide to go against the mighty Smaug the dragon. Although everybody comes out unscathed, Smaug does get to sit on his pile of treasure, 33 CS above his counterpart, Bungie Bag on Renekton. Any comment, Havish?
Nothing to say so far. I am interested. Oh, the sun is cut out here though.
Interestingly, and the final. I did not expect Brand to secure that kill. Although the icy bolt of fire does come out. The smite is kind of questionably used there. The flash comes out by Zac. Although a well-timed, a very nice Lee Sin kick knocking up 3 members of the enemy team, but it will not be enough to stave the attack of this tower. Shyvana is an absolute monster at this point in the game, although Bungie Bag is coming to exact his revenge. again, both teams come out unscathed. A very high early game skirmish kind of game, but Techinthepresent is allowed to eat W out right before the condemn hits, and again, Happy goes on a massive tear with his resets on that Katarina. A very well-timed pick against this other team that does not have too many forms of hard CC. Mostly caught up in a Jarvan EQ, a Vayne Condemn, and a Zac E and Alt, which are not the most, which are not the easiest to pull off when a ulting, spinning, dagger throwing Katarina is in your face. I can say so myself. They do get the return turret in the mid lane for an exchange for the support, Leona. It does look like Dragon is going to be up in 4 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. It is going to be a highly contested pick. Which team do you think is going to be able to secure this, Havish?
Considering Lee Sin is backing, I don't know. I'm rooting for purple team at this point.
I don't know if the steal. You cannot purple team. Okay. Now both teams have the level 2 dragon buff, which allows the clearing of minions faster and plus 8% attack damage and ability power. Okay, let's look at some of these item builds.
For that IE, I believe. Tristana has reached that very powerful IE phantom.
She has gotten out of her mid-game slump, but although she has come out slightly even with Vayne, with the same amount of kills and almost the same amount of deaths, it'll be interesting seeing these two ADC monsters battle up against each other with the Extreme Lizard and Smog the Dragon. This is a very interesting game to watch team fight wise, because in the top lane we have two very disruptive tanks that can tear through the backline easily, regardless of what team they're on. And in the mid lane we have highly burst potential mid laners that can blow up an entire team if they group together at a moment's notice. And of course in the jungle,
that Brand at this point hasn't really been doing that much compared to what Katarina has been doing.
He has not had too much pressure, although all it takes is one good ultimate to turn a whole team fight around. Now it looks like Jarvan and Lee Sin both start to move on to their more supportive kind of jungler roles. And of course, in the bottom lane, we have these monster ADCs that are going to become crazy late game. And we also have these kind of support-heavy, peeling, engaging supports that are going to be protecting these extremely damage-throwing monsters in the bot lane. It looks like the Leona ult is thrown out for whatever reason on the Jarvan in the mid lane. Although it does have a pretty short cooldown, only 63 seconds, so that'll be up by time for the next team fight. The Lee Sin Q does connect on the Vayne, although he will not follow it to its course. His mind is telling him no, and his body is telling him no. Shyvana does finally get that turret that she sought for 34 minutes of this game. She had it in her eyes, and now she, with her 3-2 and 4 score and 276 CS, absolutely massive, is going to become a ruckus in these team fights. Now it looks like Baron started, is about half HP. Will Techinthepresent come for the... He misses the Q, so the smite seal did not come out. But they are caught up. And it does seem to get caught a little bit. The ult comes out, and she does get the reset. Oh. Interesting to see what will happen. Connect. Oh, a well-timed ult from Lee Sin comes out, but it's not enough to save his death. Now Renekton looks like he's in the thick of it all. Oh, but we do see the wombo combo of DNKZ Swag Sauce, Happy, and Alex coming in for this cleanup kill. Is this really what I'm seeing? A very well executed team fight with an ace coming out for the blue team at a very high cost for them. Baron for an ace is not a worth trade, especially when you have an extremely farmed Tristana on the other team, which is just getting her very powerful, potent items that are going to rip through your team in the next as many minutes.
Here, but he doesn't seem to be a problem. She does have that last whisper,
come out.
which is just melting through his Vayne's armor.
Happy played that team fight impeccably with her ability to kind of stay away regardless of Lee Sin's death, you know, kind of ignoring the teammates' pleas in favor of waiting for her cooldowns to be up, to be perfect, going in and wiping up that team fight with Vayne and Brand.
It was very well executed.
Extremely well executed. Alright, looks like the blue buff, or the red buff will be going over to DNKZ Swag Sauce on that Tristana. Very powerful for kiting and chasing.
What's interesting here is that Katarina has gotten that armor item. She's gotten the chain vest, which is an interesting.
What do you think that's going to build into?
I
would say a GA.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
I bet it's going to be a GA. But all bets are off when it comes to Happy. He does do some pretty unconventional builds at times, as we have liked to seen. Oh, Smog has set his sights on another turret. What a monster this dragon is becoming with a massive 297 CS at 37 minutes. Although Bungie Bag will attempt to answer with the turret on the top side. Shyvana does have her TP up. Stop this. Will the Blade of the Ruin King come out? Yes, it will. The Randuin's comes out for Bungie Bag.
Damage at this point.
Bungie Bag does try to stave off the attack. His E is up. He will escape unscathed. No, but Shyvana wants some more. Oh, Bungie Bag is within a rock and a soft place. Although this soft place does have some extreme disruption in the form of Zac. Although the flash does come out. And the rest of the cavalry is coming in. Alex Dips does purge the darkness that is Smog the Dragon and steal some of that loot back from the cave. Lee Sin Q does miss. Ooh, a wasted Leona ultimate. Never a good thing to see. Happy is picking up a couple more kills for himself. All the kills are going where they need to go. Although Lee Sin is making some good use of his kills that he has been permitted.
We're seeing a half
Look at this
tanky, half damage build on Lee Sin, but more on the tanky side.
Ooh, a perfect dodge by Brand.
We see the
Oh,
exact
it does come out. And powerful Katarina spin. And will the combo come out again?
very focused at this point. Very aggressive play here by
Wow.
Tristana.
This Tristana play is just impeccable on DNKZ Swag Sauce.
That was very risky. If they aren't as fed as they are right now, they would have died. That kind of positioning.
That would have been a very monumental comeback opportunity for the purple team. But you know, the gap is widening, almost at 4K now. Yes, almost at 4K. Looks like Smog the Dragon is a little bit upset after losing some of his loot. Although he does have quite a bit in the bank in terms of a Blade of the Ruin King, Randuin's Omen, Spirit Visage, and a Sunfire Cape. The next Dragon buff will go up to the red team, or to the purple team. This does grant them 5% movement speed, which is pretty beneficial, but not so much the fifth one. Bungie Bag does get caught out after taking the first tier bottom lane turret. Blue team is trailing slightly behind in turrets at this point. Okay. It looks like we see DNKZ Swag Sauce backing. Let's see what he's going to back. Probably going to sell the Doran's Blade for something better. He does. And what does he buy? Another BF sword. What could that build into? I'm guessing a Bloodthirster. I wouldn't say... Does a Scimitar get rid of Vayne Condemn?
It does.
It does. That would be an interesting path to go down.
I don't think
Although
she
the
needs
CC
it, though.
The CC is slightly limited on the purple team, although it is present in forms of some knockups and displacements by Jarvan and Zac, mainly.
And it seems to me that Vayne has completely bypassed the Bork in her build. She doesn't even plan on getting it ever. She's just
very interesting, as it is quite essential in terms of kiting and bursting in combination with the silver bolts.
I can understand that Bloodthirster can help with dealing with burst earlier on in the game, but later in the game when people are stacking health. She really needs that Bork. I mean, she does a lot of damage already, but that Bork can really...
Especially
put
with
that
some
ahead.
mega tanks coming out in the forms of Lee Sin, Renekton, and Alex Dips.
Exactly.
Although
Because
we'll see
most
how
of the
this plays
time-
out for them.
Because most of the time, the playstyle of the Lee Sin is to go in and then back out using his ward jump. This playstyle means that Vayne doesn't really have time to put all 3 stacks so that she can do the percentage damage. So that is kind of bad.
Absolutely. Now Baron is up in 25 seconds, and it seems like the purple team is having second thoughts about that, given what happened last time. Okay.
Do
you have the sweeper coming out? Yeah. Bungee Bag is getting sadly outclassed by this Shyvana. Very disappointing at this point in the game. Although that is the way of life, you do get the early game, but I don't know if it's worth the late game drop off that you get when you play Renekton.
Ooh, that Tristana damage is very high.
Although the crits coming out of Tristana are not as high as the crits coming out of Vayne. Vayne with the 372 AD. Ooh, Tristana does have quite a bit more. And some attack speed to boot. These ADCs are very evenly matched in terms of attack damage and attack speed.
Obviously, Tristana has a higher escape and more range, but Vayne has more true damage and more damage in general as a trade-off.
Do you know off the top of your head what Vayne's attack range is?
No.
Although, it doesn't need to be memorized that Tristana does highly outclass Vayne in terms of attack range. Now it looks like a 3-man squad of Vayne, Zac, and Brand are kind of walking into the jungle, doing a little bit of a dance. As I predicted, Happy does pick up his GA, which would be infuriating. The engage does come in with a perfect Jarvan ult and a Katarina disengage over the wall with the ward. The teleport does come out of Bungee Bag. The Vayne is starting to shred. The Shyvana is in the throes of her smog attacks. Happy does unfortunately go down. DNKZ Swag Sauce is going to come in from the side. Vayne is shredding the rest of the team, including Lee Sin and Katarina. Unfortunately,
very good pick by purple team. This might have just turned the game.
That was a perfect Jarvan EQ followed up with the Shyvana ult and the Jarvan ultimate, and it will maybe secure them Baron, or it definitely will, with the smite of Lee Sin down, considering his death. Ooh, Alex Dips is going for a little bit of a risky play. Ooh, Tristana is pumping out quite a bit of damage, stalling the Baron if only a little. Wow, will they be able to take down the Shyvana?
Vayne is coming in here with her damage.
Will the red buff? The red buff is enough. Oh, the Vayne is shredded, and the throes of the last Baron fight are fresh in the minds of purple team as Zac desperately tries to hop out of there with his Baron buff still circling slowly around him.
That was a very, very, very aggressive, unneeded play there by Vayne. That flash pretty much threw their advantage. As I said before, positioning is very important to the AD carry.
And look at this too. Now Vayne has absolutely no stick potential to anybody, considering she doesn't have her Bork and her red buff is taken away by DNKZ Swag Sauce.
Ooh, that Renekton missed his.
Although in the mid lane, Brand is getting a little bit of a few of his core items done in the meantime, while Happy is focusing more on defense in terms of his Guardian Angel and his Zodiac.
CS advantage, 243 to 166. That's a huge CS lead there by.
But at some point, Shyvana has hit full build, with the exception of an upgraded warding totem. So I don't know. Maybe these CS advantages are going to mean less and less. And then as the game goes on, Renekton is going to get less powerful, and Shyvana is just going to be an absolute monster, killing Frodo and his friends. Tristana with the hairy feet, hobbiting around.
Tristana is very good water damage. The rest, purple team, red team, coming at this point.
Frodo's ring is usually invisible, but the only ring purple team is going to see in this team fight is the end of Tristana's gun. Very efficient kiting coming out of
That kick
Swag
completely
sauce.
negated Zach's engage.
What a perfectly timed disengage coming from Swag Sauce, using his range extremely effectively, kiting back into the lane while doing some extreme damage to Zach in the meantime. The next dragon is up, and this is getting dangerously close to the 5th level of dragon, which grants a 16% AP and AD bonus. And the second Scuttle Crab is taken away by Shyvana. Purple team is destined to win, although Renekton does seem to respond with his own Scuttle Crab on his side of the map. How do you feel about the Scuttle Crab usage this game?
I think that it was picked up as necessary. Both teams have been warding extremely well, as you can see. And losing control has been a big fight. It's been like a psychological warfare the entire game. But both, in terms of vision, have done pretty well. Obviously, maybe blue team could have used more vision when their Katarina and Lee Sin were caught. But I don't know if vision was the problem. Maybe it was just paying attention.
You would think that Brand would want to get a Rabadons for his last item, because there is not a lot of bonus AP in the build, mostly Spell Pen, which is of course a core on Brand, but you would think that it would take a little bit of AP to be able to bring that Spell Pen to a closing on the enemy team. There is a 4-man squad pushing up mid lane with the Swag the Dragon right behind him.
I do wonder what he's building that into. Vayne is playing very aggressive at the moment.
Okay, let's see how this goes. Alex Deepasupo comes in with a 4-man slow on his ultimate. Renekton does top onto the Brand in the back line. Shyvana and Jarvan jump into the blue team's front line. Bad mistake with Tristana just shredding with Happy on Katarina. And it's just going to be a slaughter. The umbrella is not staving away the sun, but is doing very efficiently staving away the darkness of Vayne. Is that a penta?
No, I think it is just a quad.
Oh, yes. The Zac does somehow escape to the confines of blue team's base in the corner there.
This might be the end.
Happy's GA is back up. DNKC Swag Sauce is brunting the majority of this turret damage. Ooh, it does shred though. Ooh, but just barely. And the ace comes out with Happy on the Katarina, using his resets effectively to be able to hop out, using his Shunpo over the wall using a ward.
Well, they might be the end of the game.
This may very well be the end of the game, although Jarvan is up in 15 seconds, and Katarina's GA is just popped. Although I don't think that there's any comeback from this. It looks like this is going to be GG with the Disrespect Scrying Orb being used on the enemy base. And this is the Nexus explosion we've been waiting for a good 49 minutes.
Well played by both teams here. Wonderfully played, but at the end of the day, blue team just came out on top.
What a fantastic game with two team comps that are very similar, both with an extremely bursty mid laner, although one was able to get the combos off while the other was not. And two tanky top laners and two monster ADCs in the end of the game.
And you know, at the end of the day, I think what really won this game for blue team is the fact that they played to a play style that is hard to achieve without good team synergy. I mean, if they allowed Vayne, if you saw, was constantly had to choose between 2 or 3 targets, and she could never stick to one other than Renekton, because blue team played perfectly at going in and going out. They were playing peekaboo all team fights. Katarina would go in, take out one person, go back and stay back and wait until the opportune moment, and the entire team were just opportunists, and that's exactly why they won. If they had just gone in and played out a normal team fight, head to head, arm to arm, they probably would not have won because of the Brand Jarvan AoE, but the fact that they played to their composition is what really brought out the win this game.
Yes, it was interesting watching the two tank and spank kind of team comps coming out with the Tristana and Vayne, although the Vayne itemization was a little bit weird by common standards.
Yeah.
It was very close, with only a 5k gold deficit up until the very end. It was a very entertaining game to watch. Very standard compositions. Although I was very surprised by the Zac support racking up quite a couple assists in the early game.
Well, that was.
It was just that kind of displacement that came with the early game ganking Jarvan that just kind of put it over the edge for them.
True. Well,
Overall, yes. Sorry.
that was a very interesting game overall. Like you're saying.
An overall very interesting game for a first cast. Thank you for having me on here today, Havish. And it looks like LCS
Thank you for
Airlines
coming.
is disembarking. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.